I keep thinking to myself, what are humans supposed to do? It can't just be work, eat, sleep, repeat. You'll see I did that a lot, but in the end something really upsetting slowed our lives down enough so that we could actually live. Hi, I'm Phaedra and this is my husband Moroni.
Hello.
We've been flower farming and running a florist business for the past 5 years.
Are you having fun being a farmer?
Yeah.
We had the land, some knowledge, limited resources and almost no budget. We set up our farm from scratch, grew flowers to supply our own florist business, continued raising 3 kids and have had the most amazing time. We had to sell flowers to fund our lives and to make this work, and we did. We supported our family of 5 for 4 years selling flowers, and then it all came crashing down. I'll tell you about that later in the video. And now our farm is changing into something very surprising. I'll tell you about that later too. It's been hard but rewarding. Building something literally from the ground up feels so big. An accomplishment that could easily be lost in the never-ending to-do list. Which is why I feel like making this video. To remind us of where we came from and inspire you to go out and chase a dream. This is our story. Let's go back to year 1. The idea of flower farming just popped into our heads. Well, Moroni's head. And so we just did it, purely driven by faith that this would all work out. Our first garden beds were made using the no-till method. We collected so much cardboard, laid it down, shoveled in trailer loads of soil and got planting. This first year wasn't pretty. It was bare bones and we planted as many flowers as we could in any garden beds we could.
We are under the pump. It's without machinery and without help or anything like that. It's just so much labour.
The result to us was just so beautiful and so addicting.
I really love this one.
We started in winter, which for us is around June, July, August, and that was in 2020, and we had flowers by summer or around Christmas time. I sold some bouquets this year and deep dived into the world of floristry so that I could be ready for the following season. We were still working our mainstream jobs at this point.
This shed over here is becoming the flower shed.
And we had a little baby and 2 girls. It was actually really fun.
It's not impressed.
We had so many ideas, but it was just so much work.
Here we are.
We did not know we could work this hard, or that we would work at this intensity for the next 3 years. We were so proud of our garden beds and our soil. It was a season filled with hope and ideas for what we would achieve and build on the farm.
For summer, we want to try to get this shed sorted out as our garden shed because the other one is a pretty bad mess.
Our first frost hits usually around May, and that marks the end of one season and the beginning of the next. We recoup a little over winter, pick lemons, clean garden beds, try to get some bigger projects done. We learnt how to raise seeds on a heat mat and struggled with identifying tiny little seedlings from amongst the weeds when we were trying to weed the garden.
So much weeding.
This year was the year we needed to work out how to sell flowers.
Our original idea was to sell wholesale to florists, and at the time there weren't really that many other flower farmers in the area, and the florists just weren't interested in our product. They didn't want farm fresh flowers, they wanted to just buy from their wholesaler. So the idea to sell wholesale had no buyers, we had no market for that, so it pushed us into selling retail, and the online florist shop was born.
We went to a market every Saturday to sell and advertise ourselves and ended up discovering how to sell flowers by the side of the road, which we call roadside. It was a lot of paperwork and permits, but it worked out and ended up being our main income for the next 3 years. beautiful bouquets. So we've got a 55, 55, 75, and then I've got $17, $35. So let me give you some close-ups. I don't know, it's an hour and a half into the market.
Yeah.
And we've nearly sold out. Good job.
Yeah.
I remember season 2 being an absolute scramble to get things done. Never enough beds to plant into, never enough space to raise seedlings, stressing about if we were growing enough flowers and would they be ready in time for special dates. My first year dividing dahlias, what a scary activity it is the first time. They are so precious. It's actually really hard. I found it kind of stressful. I didn't enjoy this job. Year 2 was the year I decided to grow Lisianthus from seed. So maybe, just maybe, we're going to have some Lisianthus that we've done from seed as well. And needless to say, I am still trying to grow Lisianthus from seed, and it's year 5. Okay, let's have a look at these Lisianthus. I'm kind of growing tired of waiting for them. I know gardening requires patience, but Lisianthus is next level. Have they even grown? Like, oh, look, this is the size of them. They're so incredibly tiny. This season was plagued with lockdowns, and we could still operate because we could do deliveries, and our business actually really thrived. We did really well sales wise, and it was such an unexpected outcome that our new little business would just absolutely thrive at this time. We turned our shed into a studio. I fully plastered the inside and it looked so beautiful. One of the things I just remember about this studio once we got the plaster all up was the echo, and it just felt like the space was huge. It was really, really cool to have this amazing new space. So for those that have been following along, you'll know about this studio. We had fun ordering florist supplies, sowing seeds, selling and growing lots and lots of flowers. Morning. Rona, you look like a gnome. We got a Rotary hoe this year and it was an absolute game changer. Rona, I just got delivery of a, what's it called? A
Self-power tiller.
Like a Rotary hoe. It's now the one thing we recommend other new farmers purchase first, if they can. Our second season was just such a happy time. We felt really successful. We grew so many flowers. This was the year we quit our jobs and went all in with flower farming. Something everybody recommends against, but we just knew it would work. How gorgeous! Our florist business was going really well, and so we could operate all year with buying flowers from the wholesaler. The same wholesaler all the florists told us they would only purchase from, we were now purchasing from over winter and as a backup if anything went wrong on the farm, which it did. We just loved living life in this gorgeous paradise we call home. We went into the season thriving, making and selling lots of bouquets, home with the kids, managing a farm, feeling very thankful for this life. I remember this being the year I grew a tunnel of cosmos, and you could look down through it and see our blue house in the distance. It is still to this day one of my favourite things I did here. We were in an amazing routine selling flowers. We gave away lots of flowers via a pay it forward listing on our website, which was really fun. So this is what we're delivering, and it's got this on it. So sent anonymously with kindness is what the buyer put on it. And I'll go and deliver it to a random person to brighten their day. So that's what we're doing. Let's take it over. Delivered. Instead of leaving them at the door, I rang the doorbell and told her what it's all about, and she cried. And I was still talking about fixing up that old shed to use as a flower shack. So mi amor, a big point of this meeting is I would like to allocate you to clean the shed out.
The rat shed?
Oh, you already know about that. But never quite having enough time to build it. Time was becoming a problem. I just didn't have enough of it, and I'd find myself working 12 to 14 hour days on top of being a mum and running a household. Some days I wondered where I got the energy. but I could feel myself struggling slightly with it. Our first frost hit around May, and it'll end in October. October is when the majority of the flowers go in, and we had completed that task around the end of November. We had weird weather this season, and it ended up with major flooding. Oh no! I'm pretty sure it's... Oh no! It's going through the whole flower field. Well, I don't know about our season now. That's where remember you dug this out?
Yeah. Well, we think that we didn't plant anything.
All of our nice soil's gone. Yeah. But it's protecting that whole field. If this wasn't washed out, that would be underwater. The others are underwater though. It was bad, but we still had some flowers. This did set us up for a very bad season though. Loss of thousands of plants as roots and corms became waterlogged. Disease set in and we had to remove all of our cosmos for the season. It washed away our beautiful soils and pushed us back about 3 months on the farm. We didn't have enough flowers all season, but we're very blessed to be able to buy in from the wholesaler. All of the water meant that we were completely inundated with weeds. We just couldn't get on top of them all season. This season, it became very apparent that we needed fencing to keep pests off our flowers, mainly the kangaroos, the wallabies and rabbits. So we put up a fairly ugly temporary fence, which I didn't love, but we didn't have the time or money to put up a proper fence. We were out selling roadside, rain, hail and shine. I made lots of floral projects. We survived our second Valentine's Day and Mother's Day, which are the two biggest sales days of the year and take weeks to prepare for, and then I don't sleep for a couple of days during that period. I worked on a candle project for months this season and I thought I had a really gorgeous product to sell. I was loving it and then it didn't really sell. I'm not really sure what the issue with it was, but in the end it wasn't making money and I had to let it go. I think if it was a product I could have posted out cheaply, it could have worked. I really enjoyed making candles, so it was a bit of a shame to let it go. We built a hothouse and it has been one of the best things we've done on the farm. We continued finishing off the studio and clad the outside to match the house and it looked really good. I had noticed a slump in sales this year and had sort of wondered about the future a few times. I just feel like this is getting so hard, mainly because we've just had the roughest start to the season. I just feel so crappy about it today. And things have been really slow too, like sales have been so slow. People don't have money to spend on flowers unless it's a, special occasion and it's really like hitting hard. It just sucks so much. Once our growing season picked up again in the new year, I worked on plenty of floral projects and made the most of the rest of the flowers until the frost hit again. Our 4th year flower farming and selling was overall a really good season, flowers wise. We had also added veggies into the farm, which made me really happy. And we made and sold heaps of flowers, but it was a really bad year for business, and the beginning of the end really. With the setup of the farm, we had all of the rows in place, and the decision was made that this was it. This was the perfect size for us, and it was manageable. It felt amazing to have beds ready to go. We no longer had to scramble for room to plant things. I really can't tell you. I can't emphasize enough how amazing that really feels, just to have the bare bones set up and ready to go. I grew ornamental kale for the 2nd season, and this time it was absolutely amazing and right in time for Mother's Day. I had timed it perfectly. Due to the economy making everything more expensive, I had to get creative with driving around so much. We live around 40 minutes away from our wholesaler, and some mornings I'd drive in, make the flowers in town just before delivering. I'd just make them in the back of the car in a car park, and if it was raining, I'd go to an underground car park. It felt chaotic, and I often had the kids with me, but it worked and it saved time and money. This 4th year, I was really feeling so tired. We were getting tired of roadside sales, and sales had really dropped. People were finding it harder to afford basics like food and rent, so buying flowers became a luxury, not just a nice little treat like it had been for the past 3 years. We set up a new location to sell at our local service station, which has been great, and we tried a number of other things to try to keep the business afloat. Just in the nick of time.
Yeah.
I did it.
Fantastic.
So this is what we've got. These are your 255ers, and then the rest are 35s.
Okay.
Look pretty?
Yeah, and the bottle brush.
Aren't these gorgeous?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the bottle brushes are nice. They've got nice straight stems. My health really started to go downhill. I had suffered a bad concussion, I'd hurt my back, at some point I got a bruise on my eye and eventually went into burnout, but I didn't realise. I was just so busy, and we were preparing the farm so we could fly to Mexico to see family right after the first frost hit. I was selling flowers at all of our usual locations, preparing for the biggest day in flowers for the year, which is Mother's Day, preparing the farm for us to go away, as well as doubling up on YouTube videos so I could schedule them while I was away. It was just too much. I knew it, but I didn't know what to do about it. The frost hit while we were in Mexico, which was really good timing for us. It was perfect. We didn't need anyone to water the farm while we were gone. It was amazing to be there with family and be away from farm and work. We went to a resort in Cancun for a few days, and it was absolutely gorgeous, and I just can't believe these places exist where you don't have to do anything. I remember walking around in a daze, just in absolute disbelief at this feeling. Is this really what it's like to have no stress? I hadn't felt that feeling for years, maybe even 10 years, and it was magical. It really made me think about changes when we got back though. When we did get back from Mexico, sales were so low. We had to make the decision to stop selling roadside. The economy is killing us. Sales are so low to the point where if things don't change, we're not going to make enough money to survive anymore. While we were away, I'd closed the website and I didn't open it back up after getting back. The economy had pushed us and other florists out of business, and I had severe burnout. I had to rest so much, and work on the farm moved really slowly. Ro and I had started a new business as a private gardener for people in our local area, and it was really busy. So our income was sorted, which was really good.
He was much happier and so was I.
He was becoming a bit robotic, making the same bouquets over and over and selling them. That didn't bring me joy at all. It's kind of lovely how if you go with the ebbs and flows of life, it brings you what you need. God gives you what you need. We had the most amazing time building a farm up, running a florist business, meeting amazing people who purchased our flowers, and I have to tell you, delivering flowers is such a happy occasion. Even when it's sad, it brings joy. It's amazing. We aren't sad about this era ending. We have completely embraced whatever is to come next.
Oh, and I have to tell you, come here. On my birthday this year, a little cat arrived to the farm. Hey, puss. There's a little cat. Look, it's just arrived. It turned up. It's the birthday cat. Hello. And it feels so soft and fluffy and cute. I've always dreamed of an animal adopting us. Maybe it's really happening.
She's still here and she's so lovely, and we call her the birthday cat. See what I mean about life bringing you what you need? We have plans for the farm. This season it's planted out with half veggies and half flowers, and the most amazing thing, all of the flowers are edible. I can't wait to show you this gorgeous fully edible garden and build all of my ideas out into this space. This past winter was my most joyous time on the farm. I was healing from burnout and business failure and spent most of my time weeding, but look at what I achieved. And how gorgeous was this past winter? It was completely magical, and I really miss it, and I can't wait for winter again. Right now on the farm, we're just waiting for things to grow. It was a slow start, as I can't get as much done as I used to. I'm still trying to recover and it's taking so long. I'm really loving the slower paced life.
As for this shed, it's still on the to-do list.
I'm loving getting to enjoy the flowers and grow food. This is pure joy. We have forged our own lives amongst a world that wants to tell us what to do. We can't imagine not doing this. This is a beautiful life.